August 15, 2021. The world watched in disbelief as Kabul fell. The Taliban seized control of Afghanistan. Fear descended, particularly upon women and girls. Their freedoms and lives were suddenly in jeopardy. This was the return of a brutal regime. The Taliban's ideology relegates women to second-class status. Their lives are rigidly controlled, their voices silenced, and society began to unravel as the Taliban tightened its grip. The vibrant colors of hope and progress faded, replaced by fear and oppression. The promises of a more moderate rule proved hollow. The world witnessed the dismantling of women's rights. The echoes of their laughter were replaced by silence. This essay is a testament to their struggle, a call to action. It is a plea for solidarity, for hope, for a future where women can breathe free. The return of the Taliban plunged Afghanistan into a dark age, particularly for women. But for Hazara women, a historically persecuted ethnic, the darkness is twofold. They carry the weight of both their gender and their ethnicity, facing a terrifying reality of compounded discrimination and violence. The Hazara people, predominantly Shia Muslims in a Sunni-majority country, have long been marginalized and persecuted. They are identifiable by their distinct facial features, making them easy targets for discrimination and violence. The Taliban, with their history of brutality against the Hazaras, have intensified this persecution, turning their lives into a nightmare of fear and uncertainty. The Taliban's strict interpretation of Islamic law has erased 2 decades of progress made in women's rights. Women are barred from education, work, and even basic freedoms like moving freely in public without a male guardian. The vibrant lives they once led, full of dreams and aspirations, have been brutally curtailed. The Taliban's crackdown on women's education has been swift and brutal. Schools and universities, once bustling with the energy of young minds, now stand eerily silent, transformed into ghost towns of shattered dreams. Over 80% of girls are out of school, their futures shrouded in uncertainty. The vibrant tapestry of knowledge and learning has been ripped apart, leaving behind a void of ignorance and despair. Imagine a young girl, her eyes sparkling with the thirst for knowledge, being told that her dreams are forbidden, her aspirations irrelevant. This is the heartbreaking reality for millions of girls in Afghanistan today. The closure of schools and universities is not just a statistical tragedy. It is a profound human tragedy. A generation denied its right to learn, to grow, to contribute to society. The Taliban's actions are not just an assault on women's rights, they are an assault on the very fabric of society. Education is the cornerstone of progress, the key to a brighter future. By denying women education, the Taliban are condemning Afghanistan to a future shrouded in darkness and ignorance. Section 4. Caged birds, the crushing weight of restrictions. The walls are closing in on women. Every aspect of their lives is now governed by suffocating restrictions. They cannot leave their homes without a male guardian, their bodies veiled from head to toe, their movements monitored, their voices silenced. Their once vibrant world has shrunk to the confines of their homes. The psychological toll of this constant confinement and control is immeasurable. Rates of depression and anxiety are soaring as women grapple with a sense of hopelessness and despair. The vibrant spirit that once characterized women is slowly being crushed under the weight of these oppressive restrictions. The world must not stand by as this tragedy unfolds. We must amplify the voices of women, their stories of resilience and resistance. We must hold the Taliban accountable for their actions and demand an end to these egregious human rights violations. Section 5. Poverty's grip, a descent into despair. The economic landscape of Afghanistan is bleak. The Taliban's takeover has triggered a humanitarian crisis, pushing millions into poverty. Women, already vulnerable, bear the brunt of this economic collapse. With over 60,000 women losing their jobs, families are struggling to survive. The desperation is palpable. The heartbreaking consequence of this poverty is the rise in child marriages. Desperate families, unable to feed their children, are forced to make unimaginable choices. Young girls, robbed of their childhoods, are sold into marriage, their dreams sacrificed on the altar of survival. This is the devastating reality of life under Taliban rule. The world must act now to provide humanitarian aid and support to the people. We cannot allow a generation to be scarred by hunger and desperation. Section 6. The Hazara people targeted and terrorized. The Hazaras, long marginalized, now face a heightened threat under the Taliban. Their neighborhoods, once bustling with life, are now patrolled by armed men, their mosques targeted by suicide bombers. The fear is palpable, the stories of disappearances and killings chilling. Imagine living with the constant dread that your loved ones might not return home, that your community could be attacked at any moment. This is the terrifying reality for the Hazaras under Taliban rule. Their ethnicity has become a death sentence, their culture and identity under attack. The world must not be silent in the face of this ethnic cleansing. We must demand that the Taliban protect the Hazara people and hold them accountable for any acts of violence or discrimination. Section 7. A call to action. Break the silence, light the way. The situation in Afghanistan is dire, but we must not give in to despair. We must be the voice for the voiceless. Silence is complicity. Urge our governments to take a strong stance. Demand that aid reaches those in need. Support organizations providing education and healthcare. Our voices united can make a difference. Amplify the stories of women and the Hazara people. Behind the statistics are real people with dreams. Stand in solidarity with the women and girls of Afghanistan. Be their voice, their hope, their strength. Help them reclaim their future. Let's help Afghanistan emerge from the shadows.
Afghanistan, a land steeped in history, now drowning in despair. The Taliban's grip tightens, casting a long, dark shadow over its people. Nowhere is this darkness felt more keenly than by the Hazaras and the women of Afghanistan. They are trapped, their voices stifled, their spirits slowly being crushed. Their stories must be told. The world cannot remain silent while a nation suffocates under the weight of oppression. The Hazaras, a long persecuted minority, face renewed threats to their very existence. Their cultural identity is under attack. Women, once on the cusp of progress, are thrust back into the shadows, their freedoms stolen, their dreams shattered against a wall of unforgiving ideology. This is the reality of Afghanistan today. A chilling tapestry woven with fear, discrimination and the systematic erasure of basic human rights. This is a call to action, a plea for empathy, a demand for justice. Education, once a beacon of hope, has been extinguished for girls above the 6th grade. The school bell, once a symbol of progress and promise, now echoes with the silence of shattered dreams. Young girls, their minds eager for knowledge, are confined to their homes. Young girl, as Fatima, I dreamt of becoming a doctor. I excelled in my studies, my thirst for knowledge matched only by my determination to serve my community. But my dreams were abruptly cut short when the Taliban stormed into our school, their faces contorted with an unsettling mix of authority and disdain. Girls do not belong in schools, they declared, their words sharp as shards of glass. Fatima's story is not unique. The Taliban's decree prohibiting girls' education is a devastating setback for the future of the nation. Imagine a life lived in the suffocating grip of fear, where every knock on the door sends shivers down your spine, where a casual conversation could be misconstrued, leading to dire consequences. This is the chilling reality for millions under the Taliban's rule. The streets, once vibrant with life, are now patrolled by armed men, their presence a constant reminder of the regime's iron fist. The air is thick with suspicion, every neighbor a potential informant, every stranger a possible threat. Music, once a source of joy and solace, is now banned, its absence leaving a gaping hole in the cultural fabric of the nation. Gone is the laughter of children playing in the streets. In their place is a haunting silence, a silence born of fear and uncertainty. For the women of Afghanistan, the Taliban's return has been nothing short of catastrophic. Stripped of their hard-won rights, they are once again relegated to the shadows, their lives confined to the domestic sphere.
Their dreams, their aspirations, their very identities are deemed insignificant, irrelevant in the Taliban's twisted worldview. Women are forbidden from working outside the home, their economic independence snatched away. The vibrant colors that once adorned their clothing have been replaced by the drab uniformity of the burqa, a stark symbol of their invisibility. The Taliban's oppressive dictates have extinguished the light of hope in the eyes of countless women. Their lives have become a prison, their spirits slowly being crushed under the weight of relentless restrictions.
Fear hangs heavy in the air, a suffocating blanket over the nation. Disappearances have become commonplace, a chilling testament to the Taliban's brutal methods of silencing dissent.
Those who dare to raise their voices, who dare to challenge the regime's ideology, vanish without a trace. Their families left in a perpetual state of agonizing uncertainty, their pleas for information falling on deaf ears.
Ahmad, a university professor known for his outspoken views on human rights, disappeared one evening on his way home from work. His family, frantic with worry, searched everywhere, their desperate pleas for information met with stony silence. Ahmad was never seen again. The disappearances are a stark illustration of the regime's brutality and its utter disregard for human life. The Hazaras, a predominantly Shia Muslim, have long faced persecution in Afghanistan. Under Taliban rule, their situation has become even more precarious.
They are targeted for their ethnicity, their faith, and their history of resistance against Taliban rule. Educated Hazaras, seen as a threat to the Taliban's ideology, are particularly vulnerable. Many have been forced into hiding, their qualifications rendered useless by a regime that views education as a threat. The systematic exclusion of educated Hazaras is a devastating blow to the future of Afghanistan.
The situation in Afghanistan is dire, a humanitarian crisis unfolding before our eyes. The plight of the Hazaras and the women of Afghanistan is a stark reminder of the fragility of human rights and the devastating consequences of extremism. Their stories, though heartbreaking, are a call to action. We cannot afford to turn a blind eye to their suffering. We cannot remain silent in the face of such injustice. The world must come together to demand an end to the Taliban's reign of terror. We must demand the protection of basic human rights for all, regardless of ethnicity, gender, or belief. Share their stories, raise your voices. The people of Afghanistan deserve a future free from fear, a future where girls can go to school, where women can walk freely, where every citizen has the opportunity to reach their full potential.
Hey, you made it to the end. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. See you next time.